Welcome to our first tale of horror on the open road at night. The engine purred softly as I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles turning white under the strain. The night swallowed the road ahead, stretching out like an endless abyss. I glanced at the clock, 2:37 a.m. A shiver crawled down my spine, a premonition of the horrors that awaited me on this desolate stretch of highway. The radio crackled with static, refusing to yield any semblance of comfort. It was as if the night itself had devoured the signals, leaving me alone with my thoughts and the eerie silence that permeated the car. But I pressed on, determined to reach my destination before the darkness claimed me. As the miles rolled by, a thick fog descended from the trees, seeping onto the road like a creeping spectre. The headlights cut through the mist, casting long, twisting shadows that danced in macabre unison. My heart quickened its pace, pounding against my ribcage as if begging for release from this unholy realm. A flicker of movement caught my attention, a figure on the side of the road, hunched and shrouded in tattered garments. My foot instinctively eased off the gas pedal, curiosity mingled with caution. Should I stop and offer help? But something about that figure sent a chill down my spine, a primal warning etched into the depths of my soul. I decided to drive on, my gaze fixed ahead, but the image of that enigmatic silhouette haunted the corners of my mind. The road stretched out like a twisted serpent, each turn an invitation to despair. The forest loomed on either side, branches reaching out like skeletal fingers, beckoning me to surrender to the encroaching darkness. Suddenly a shrill screech pierced the silence, tearing through the fabric of my nerves. The car veered to the right, tires skidding against the unforgiving asphalt. Panic clenched my chest as I fought for control, the vehicle spinning and sliding towards the edge of the road. In a final desperate act, I wrenched the steering wheel, narrowly avoiding a collision with a gnarled tree trunk. My heart raced, adrenaline coursing through my veins. I peered into the rearview mirror, expecting to see the twisted wreckage of my car, but there was nothing. No sign of the near-fatal accident, only the cold, empty road mocking my shaken resolve. I gathered my frayed composure and continued, now with an unease that clung to my every breath. The minutes turned into hours, each passing moment a torturous reminder of my isolation. The road seemed to stretch into infinity, the edges of my reality blurring into a nightmare. And then, through the thick fog, I glimpsed a flickering light, a lone gas station in the distance. Relief washed over me, salvation on the precipice of this wretched journey. As I approached, I noticed an old man standing outside, his silhouette cast in ominous darkness. I parked the car and cautiously approached him, my footsteps muffled by the heavy mist. The old man's eyes, piercing and ancient, met mine with a mixture of sorrow and warning. He spoke in a voice that carried the weight of 1,000 stories. "Beware, traveller," he whispered. "This road, it seeks souls. It feeds on the lost, the weary. Turn back lest you become another victim." His words echoed in my mind, a chilling prophecy that echoed through the hollow chambers of my soul. With a trembling hand I fumbled for the car keys, my intuition finally overpowering my determination. I turned, my heart heavy with a cocktail of fear and relief, and made my way back to the car. As I drove away from that forsaken place, the fog lifted, revealing the comforting glow of civilization on the horizon. The nightmare was left behind, a haunting memory that would forever serve as a reminder of the darkness that prowls the night. And so, I vowed never to venture on that road again, a guardian of my own sanity, for those who tread upon its treacherous path may never find their way back to the world of the living. If you enjoyed this story, please like and share this video. It greatly helps the channel and I cannot thank you enough. Now on to the next story. The night air hung heavy with an eerie stillness as I navigated the winding road, my headlights cutting through the darkness. The monotony of the journey had begun to take its toll, my eyelids heavy with exhaustion, but I pressed on, determined to reach my destination before succumbing to the fatigue that threatened to consume me. The silence was broken only by the low hum of the engine and the rhythmic thumping of my own heartbeat. Shadows danced along the periphery, distorting the edges of my vision and playing tricks on my weary mind. A sudden gust of wind rattled the car, causing me to grip the steering wheel tighter, my knuckles turning white under the strain. The road stretched out like an endless ribbon, disappearing into the void ahead. But then, a flicker of movement caught my attention. A figure standing at the edge of the road. A hitchhiker, perhaps. An instinctive unease washed over me, warning bells ringing in the depths of my consciousness. But curiosity gnawed at my resolve, urging me to pull over and offer assistance. Reluctantly, I brought the car to a halt, the engine idling in an uneasy symphony with my racing thoughts. The figure slowly approached, their features shrouded in darkness. As they drew nearer, a sense of dread settled over me like a suffocating fog. Their eyes gleamed with an otherworldly intensity, devoid of humanity. "Need a ride?" I managed to choke out, my voice betraying my unease. A hollow laugh escaped their lips, sending a chill down my spine. "Oh, I don't need a ride," they replied, their voice a discordant symphony of whispers. "But you, my dear traveller, you need to be careful. The road at night is a treacherous place." My breath caught in my throat as their words hung heavy in the air. Before I could respond, they vanished into the darkness, leaving me with a sense of foreboding that clung to my skin like a damp cloak. Trembling, I shifted the car into gear, my mind swirling with a mixture of curiosity and fear. As I resumed my journey, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. The road seemed to coil like a serpent, tightening its grip on my sanity. Shadows danced and morphed, taking on sinister forms that seemed to lurk just beyond the reach of my headlights. I could feel their eyes upon me, a malevolent presence lurking in the darkness. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light illuminated the night sky, followed by a deafening crack of thunder. The rain poured down in torrents, drumming against the roof of the car with an intensity that matched the racing of my heart. Visibility dwindled, reducing the world outside to a murky haze of distorted shapes and distorted reality. Straining to see through the downpour, I caught a glimpse of a figure standing in the middle of the road. Panic surged within me as I slammed on the brakes, the car skidding precariously on the wet asphalt. The figure loomed larger, an ethereal silhouette with a haunting aura that sent waves of terror crashing over me. I locked eyes with the spectre, frozen in a macabre dance of fear and fascination. Its hollow gaze seemed to penetrate my very soul, an abyss of darkness that threatened to consume me whole. A haunting smile crept across its lips, a sadistic expression that whispered of untold horrors. With a jolt, the figure vanished, leaving me disoriented and shaken. The rain continued to pound against the windshield, a symphony of despair and confusion. Gathering my scattered wits, I cautiously eased back onto the road, the weight of the encounter settling upon my trembling shoulders. But the road ahead had transformed. The familiar landmarks had vanished, replaced by an unknown expanse that twisted and writhed in the periphery of my vision. The once familiar path now led me deeper into a labyrinth of darkness, a maze of despair from which escape seemed impossible. In the distance, a solitary streetlight flickered, its feeble glow beckoning me toward an uncertain fate. With each passing second, its radiance dimmed, until it was swallowed entirely by the encroaching darkness. Panic surged within me as the car's headlights flickered and died, leaving me enveloped in an impenetrable black void. My heart pounded in my chest, a frantic rhythm that mirrored the chaos of my thoughts. I fumbled for my phone, desperate for a glimmer of hope, but it too had succumbed to the consuming darkness. Trapped and alone, I was at the mercy of an insidious force that revelled in my terror. Time lost all meaning as I stumbled blindly through the abyss, my breath coming in ragged gasps. Whispers echoed in the void, disembodied voices that spoke of unspeakable horrors and unsatisfied spirits. Every step I took was laden with trepidation, unsure of what nightmare awaited me in the next shadowed corner. And then, like a beacon of salvation, a faint glimmer pierced the darkness. A distant streetlight flickered to life, casting a feeble glow on a nearby signpost. Relief flooded through me as I recognized the familiar name of a nearby town. Summoning the last vestiges of my strength, I stumbled toward the light, clawing my way back to the realm of the living. The road twisted and turned, the distance to salvation stretching like an endless nightmare. But with each step the light grew stronger, banishing the encroaching darkness. Finally, gasping for breath and drenched in fear, I reached the outskirts of the town, a place of refuge from the malevolent road that had threatened to claim my sanity. As I stood on the precipice of safety, a shudder ran through me, a chilling reminder of the horrors I had witnessed on that fateful journey. The road at night, once a path of freedom and exploration, had become a gateway to the darkest recesses of the human soul. I vowed to never venture into its clutches again, my mind scarred by the terrors that lurked within its depths. For those who dare to travel its twisted course, beware, for the road at night is a treacherous companion, and its horrors may never truly release you from their grip. Welcome to our third and final tale of the night. The night was cloaked in darkness as I embarked on a journey through the desolate countryside. The road stretched before me, winding and mysterious. I was alone, enveloped in the solitude of the late hour, with only the hum of the engine and the soft glow of the headlights to keep me company. As the miles ticked away, a sense of unease settled over me. The once familiar landmarks began to blur, their shapes distorted by the encroaching darkness. Shadows danced along the edges of my vision, whispering secrets of the night. But I pushed aside my growing unease, determined to reach my destination before dawn. Suddenly a thick fog rolled in, obscuring my view and swallowing the road ahead. My heart quickened its pace as I cautiously continued, the only guide being the faint glow of the headlights cutting through the mist. Every nerve in my body screamed for me to turn back, but a stubborn resolve kept me pressing forward. As the fog thickened, the world around me transformed into a surreal dreamscape. Strange shapes loomed in the mist, their twisted forms invoking a primal fear deep within me. I strained to see through the opaque veil, my grip on the steering wheel tightening with each passing moment. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught glimpses of figures darting between the trees, their pale faces contorted in anguish. Panic gripped my chest as I realized I was not alone on this forsaken road. A chorus of whispers echoed through the fog, their words indistinguishable yet filled with malevolence. A chill wind swept through the car, causing my skin to prickle with goosebumps. The temperature dropped and the air grew heavy with an otherworldly presence. Shadows materialized along the roadside, stretching and reaching towards me with ethereal tendrils. I closed my eyes for a brief moment, hoping it was all a twisted illusion of the night. But when I opened them, the road had vanished. I was no longer driving on asphalt, but on a winding path of decaying leaves and gnarled roots. The car jerked and jolted, as if being guided by an unseen force. Panic seized me as I realized I had entered a realm beyond comprehension. In the distance, a flickering light beckoned, its feeble glow struggling against the suffocating darkness. With trepidation, I followed the spectral beacon, my heart pounding in my ears. Each step I took brought me closer to a truth I was not prepared to face. As I approached the source of light, I found myself standing in front of an old, dilapidated mansion. The structure loomed before me, an ominous silhouette against the moonlit sky. Windows shattered, vines creeping along its decaying walls. It exuded an air of malevolence that sent shivers down my spine. Driven by a morbid curiosity, I stepped inside the mansion's creaking doors. The air was thick with dust, the silence broken only by the sound of my own trembling breath. Shadows danced on the walls, their movements sinister and alive. I navigated the maze-like corridors, each step echoing with a haunting resonance. In a forgotten corner of the mansion, I stumbled upon a room bathed in an eerie blue glow. Trembling, I pushed open the door, revealing a scene that froze me in my tracks. The room was adorned with photographs, each capturing a moment of terror and despair. Faces twisted in agony, eyes filled with an insatiable hunger, and blood-stained walls hinted at unspeakable horrors. As I turned to flee, a bone-chilling laughter echoed through the mansion, resonating in my very soul. The walls closed in, trapping me within their labyrinthine grasp. Panic overwhelmed me as I realized that escape was futile, that the mansion was a macabre trap designed to ensnare unsuspecting souls. And so I remained trapped in this nightmarish realm, a prisoner of the malevolent forces that roam the darkness. I am a cautionary tale, a testament to the perils of driving at night, where reality blurs and nightmares become all too real. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with me, and I hoped you enjoyed the tales. With that being said, the next time you decide to venture out on a dark road at night, remember you never know what you might find.